lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop.
Chicken legs, they're cheap, but many times people are not sure what to do with them. I will explore a way to make delicious chicken lollipops that make a great dish to pass treat, tapas selection, or just for dinner. Smoking! So I placed the chicken legs in my usual salt brine and cold smoked them with hickory wood out in the smoker for 2 hours. And then now freshly dunked back in the brine where they sat for about 30 minutes after being smoked. They are now ready to be prepared and turned into lollipops. So you can see I started on these already. And what we're looking for is a nice presentable lollipop like that with the meat down in the ball, a nice clean bone. Take our chicken and we want to find a spot where it's flaring up, where the meat starts, and that's where we want to make our cut, right about there. So I'm using this deboning knife to make our cut. Use a pair of kitchen shears to finish the job because you got a bunch of tendons in there. Those can be a little tough to cut through and a little slippery too. So once you've cut the meat all the way around the bone, you want to push this part up. We want to get that part off. Sometimes you'll be lucky and the whole thing will come off. Sometimes not. You can see there's this cartilage cap, and that's where most of the tendons are connected. You want to try to pop that off if you can. Makes it so much easier to clean. Put the top of the bone if you can. So. Okay, so to begin with making the barbecue sauce, I'm going to start using some tomato sauce that I canned this year. I had a bumper crop of tomatoes, but you don't have to have that. I mean, you can use like canned sauce like this, jar, whatever you like. Of course, you can use your favorite barbecue sauce and skip this step altogether, but I like making my own and it turns out pretty good. So to begin with, I'm gonna start out with a cup my tomato sauce. To that, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of molasses. This gets our sweetness. Sure all that molasses goodness gets in there. And to that we will also add a 1/4 cup of honey. So that's our sweetness. Got our tomato. Okay, so now we've got all of our wet ingredients. Let's go over our dry ingredients. We got 2 teaspoons chili powder, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, teaspoon of fresh ground pepper, and finally, a teaspoon of ground sea salt. We'll whisk all this together, and then we'll cover it with plastic, put it in the refrigerator, and let it sit for at least an hour so that the ingredients can fully mix together and talk to each other and get to know each other real well. Once the sauce has been integrated by being left in the fridge for an hour or so, it's time to bring it to a nice simmer and then allow it to cool for a bit, getting ready to spread on our lollipops. So I have a dish here with about half a cup of general purpose flour mixed with half a cup of cornstarch. Mix these together, and then I'm going to roll the chicken lollipops in this mix and then deep fry them for about 2 minutes to crisp up the skin and set the meat into the proper lollipop shape. And this will also make our barbecue sauce stick that much better and give a nice crisp bite to these lollipops when they're finished. Kind of a little bit of a golden color on it. Again, we're not trying to cook these through the deep frying process. We just want to get a crunch skin on there and get that lollipop shape set. And that skin will adhere to our barbecue sauce much better. And now they're ready for us to put our barbecue sauce on. Notice the pink color from the smoke. These are going to be delicious when they're finished. Now I'm going to coat each of these lollipops with our homemade barbecue sauce. You just want to make sure you get all the meat area coated. Try not to get too much on the leg part itself. That's where people hold it from. But I'm going to use this little brush here to make it easier. And let me speed things up here so we can get through this real quick. Because once we have these completely coated, we are going to want to put it in the oven, and we want to cook it low and slow. We want to cook it at about 250 degrees for about an hour. Into the oven they go, and like I said, low and slow, 250 degrees for about an hour. And there they are. Don't they look good? Well, folks, only one thing left to do. That's to give these a taste. So there's our lollipops. A little messy. Delicious. Very tender, very juicy. Good smoke on there. Usually does, and of course we saw how pink it got when it was when they were originally deep fried. That shows the smoke penetration on the meat turns pinkish. You can see it still is. Very delicious. These are some of the best I've had. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I certainly hope you enjoyed that, and you should try it. They're inexpensive and they're really delicious, especially for parties and stuff where you're using finger food, tapas, that kind of thing. These are the perfect treat. And don't forget, it's no joke. Everything's better with smoke.